What is up, my friends? It is Tuesday evening's Anfield Agenda News Roundup, and it is definitely Tuesday. I've checked with my calendar. I know I said yesterday was Sunday, but it was a long day. It was a bank holiday in Ireland, but thank you for reminding me what day of the week it actually was. As you can see, I'm finally rocking some Liverpool Adidas gear, man boobs, fully on display, not at all self-conscious. But I know, as always, people are going to be kind in the comments because that's what the internet's known for. But either way, proud to be sporting it, proud to have the three stripes back with the Reds. And today, well, we're going to walk you through the latest with Benjamin SESKO and Alexander ISAK. We'll talk about Darwin Núñez, a little bit on young Rio, because let's be honest, we never tire talking about young Rio, and a few other interesting bits and pieces. If you'd like the news before anybody else, make sure you scan that QR code on the screen and join the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp community. We're heading towards 12,000 members in there, and we do appreciate your support. Right, loads to get through, as I've mentioned, so I'm going to get cracking. You know the drill. Let me know your thoughts in the video. Do drop a like if you enjoy it, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So Newcastle are ready to reluctantly cash in on Alexander ISAK if they land RB Leipzig striker Benjamin SESKO. That's hardly earth-shattering news, but we will talk more about the possibility of that in a few minutes, as, well, it's not looking great for Newcastle in that regard. Paul Joyce has said Liverpool have been looking at a number of young centre-backs across Europe, including Parma's Giovanni Leone, while there remains an interest in Mark Gay should Palace agree to sell. The asking price for the player would be key, given he's entered the final year of his contract. Now, on that, I'll take you through two other reports. One stating that Liverpool have had two bids turned down, and others believe, well, no bid has been made for Mark Gay yet. So, like I've said, I don't know what's going on with the centre-back situation. I don't have info on that. But like everybody else, I'm anxiously awaiting us to sign one. So Greg Evans has been speaking about Darwin Núñez. He said AC Milan have shown interest in Darwin Núñez alongside Al Hilal, who consider the Uruguayan a priority. On the other hand, it's unlikely Milan will be able to afford him, as the cost of the total package is very expensive. Now, more news on Darwin in a moment, but it looks as if they're getting to the point between Al Hilal and Darwin's camp where, let's say, the personal terms of it are almost there. So Paul Joyce, as I mentioned, we spoke about young Leone, looking at him. Other centre-backs that have been looked at in the past, Charlie Cresswell, we know about. But I want to know, do you think we've made an offer for Mark Gale? Because there's been mixed reporting on this one. I really don't know. There's even mixed reporting on the number. Some are reporting Palace won 50 million, some are reporting Palace won 40 million. 40 million, I think, is more than fair. 50 million feels a little bit high. Tyler Morton will complete his move today ahead of that, or his medical today, ahead of that £15 million move to Lyon, which will of course bring Liverpool in some money and a sell-on clause, 20% sell-on clause for the future. Florian Wirtz have been speaking about his debut at Anfield. He said the big challenge is to take the title again as the most difficult thing, so I just tried to create chances and also work against the ball because I can run a lot and I will bring this to the team. Then with the ball, I hope I can make the team better and bring my teammates into better situations. Yesterday, I loved how we moved the ball between the lines, between Florian Wirtz, Ugo Ekitike, Ryan Gravenberch. I thought it was absolutely just a joy to watch. And you could see how quickly the Reds were transitioning from defence into attack. On the other side of the coin, we definitely did look a little bit vulnerable to a counter-attack ourselves, and that's why we're all concerned about the centre-back situation. So let's again talk about Darwin. Dave O.C. Kopp said AC Milan are expected to make an offer this week for Darwin Núñez. The Italian side may look to sign him on loan with an obligation to buy, which Liverpool I don't think will be interested in, especially if they know that that money will be there from Al Hilal, which it is. Florian Wirtz, speaking about Ugo Ekitike now, said he's a really good player. I enjoyed watching him and I really hope and happy that he's decided to come to us. In the training sessions already, they've gone very well. In the game, we had some combinations that were good. I'm happy that I can play with him. Now, let's move on to the situation with Benjamin SESKO, which of course has ramifications for us as Liverpool fans. Manchester United have responded to Newcastle United's latest bid with their own bid. That was initially according to Bild in Germany, but that now has been, well, backed up by many journalists. David Ornstein has said United make offer to Leipzig, proposal for 75 million plus 10 million euro, meaning 85 in total. Newcastle's 90 million package has also been accepted. So now it's going to come down to the player. Both the bids have been accepted from the outside anyway by the selling club RB Leipzig, and now it's going to come down to what the player wants. More on that in a moment, but it does feel as if he's edging to Manchester United. So let's talk about Liverpool selling Luis Diaz. Bayern Space have said basically that Liverpool dictated the terms of this from start to finish. More on this tonight, but basically they said that Liverpool and Richard Hughes did everything on their terms, from even the sell-on clause in the future that Liverpool would get if Diaz moved somewhere like the Saudi Pro League. So, well done, Richard Hughes. Looks like he played an absolute blinder. So, Jan Agafurtov said, to state the obvious, this could have a big impact on the ISAK situation. Some decisive talks going on in Newcastle, Manchester United and Leipzig and Liverpool as we speak. We also know that ISAK's agent was at Anfield last night, as reported by the lads of the Anfield Wrap, so surely that's a good sign in that regard. Florian Plettenberg said SESKO reached full verbal agreements with Manchester United and Newcastle over a long-term contract. It now depends on which club reaches the agreement with Leipzig, which, by the way, they now both have. Even though United's bid is €5 million less, Leipzig are happy to accept both proposals and leave it down to the player. So as I've mentioned, 2 offers on the table. Newcastle United total offer €90 million, Manchester United's €85 million. Geordie Josh said, breaking, Newcastle's most recent bid for SESKO is higher and more upfront than United. SESKO's open to both projects, but one source has told us the player's leaning to Manchester United. And that seems to be the tale of the day. Any journalist talking about this does seem to say that he favours the move to Old Trafford. So Newcastle could miss out on yet another target, which of course would complicate our pursuit of ISAK even more. I think they'll move on to another target and eventually we'll get him, but it's dragging out this one, isn't it? Right, let's talk young Rio for a second. Rio Ngamoa had an absolute great display yesterday. Scored with inside 2 minutes. Got an assist for Darwin as well. And Romano's just reiterated what we all know, that Liverpool are going to give him a new contract, a very deserved new contract. He turns 17, I believe, next month. That's when he'll sign the new deal. His first professional contract in football. And we can look forward to, well, many years of this dude being top notch. But the question I have right now, and we will discuss this today on the Anfield Agenda podcast with myself, Chris and Steve, but I want to know, do you think he's ready for the here and now? Is he realistically going to challenge Cody Gakpo for a starting berth, or will this be an introductory season to the first team? So, MSI Douglas of the newspaper said, both bids accepted for SESKO by Leipzig, decision to be made on Tuesday by the player, confidence at Manchester United. Now we'll move on to Mark Gay for a minute because, again, a couple of differing reports here. Ed Aarons has said, understand Crystal Palace are yet to receive offers from Mark Gay, who's said to be happy to stay at Selhurst Park and see out the final year of his contract. Liverpool still thought to be his preferred option, but Newcastle could revive interest. Palace want £40 million. Now, that's where I'm talking about the disparity in bids, because this report from Santi Una said Crystal Palace have rejected 2 offers from Liverpool for Mark Gay. Palace want at least €55 million, which is about £49 million. The Reds do not intend to go that high, and they're planning to move on to other targets. Now, Ben Jacobs has come out to say, understand SESKO has agreed financial terms with both United and Newcastle. Both clubs confident of reaching an agreement. Manchester United believe SESKO wants to join them. And then Florian Plettenberg underneath put googly eyes with a tick emoji showing that, yes, he probably does intend to go to United. So what does this mean for Liverpool? Well, we do know there are other irons in the fire, shall we say, from Newcastle. Have a look at Gonzalo Ramos as an example of Paris Saint-Germain. Could they convince him to come? I really don't know at this point, as Newcastle have had, well, a problem attracting players this summer. They've missed out on 6 forwards at this point. Obviously, Ollie Watkins was another name. Johan Visa is somebody that they're trying to get a deal done for. But for us as Liverpool fans, we need them to get the marquee number 9. We need them to bring in a Gonzalo Ramos or a Benjamin Sesko before I think they realistically start to sell ISAK. Now, obviously, ISAK's agent being at Anfield last night can only be a good thing. He isn't there just because he wanted to have a look at young Rio, which of course, probably we all do, but, you know, that aside, surely something is going on there. We know that Newcastle's stance has been softening, but of course they also need to bring in a replacement. They're not going to go into the season without a striker. And look, I can't blame them. If this was Liverpool or the other way around, like I've always said, totally understand it. But whoever is dealing with transfers on the Newcastle side, and I'm sure Newcastle fans will be in agreement on this one, it's been an absolute disaster class for them so far. So hopefully something nice happens today. Maybe they get a bit of good news from SESKO. But either way, as Liverpool fans, I don't remember following other clubs' transfers this much in my entire time covering here, because there really is a chain and a domino effect here. So once Newcastle get their striker, I firmly believe, and I think most people believe the same, that ISAK will become a Red. That is where we're at for now. We will be back tonight, 8:45 for the late night agenda as always. Thank you so much for watching. The Anfield Agenda podcast episode number 2 will be out for members this evening and believe for non-members tomorrow. Catch you later on, my friends. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.